Now to high anxiety and a fear of bridges. It's a real thing, and we have 7 major bridges in the city of Jacksonville. I've been freaked out by bridges my whole life, and knowing there are so many other people who have the same fear, it prompted me to look for a solution. Now for me, it's not every bridge. Here's video of me driving over the Buckman Bridge that connects Orange Park to Mandarin. No problem at all. For me, the Buckman feels like any 4-lane highway. Now, there are several kinds of bridge phobias. I learned from local psychologist, Dr. Janice Pimentel. The phobias can be brought on by different things, like a past traumatic experience, or like mine, simply irrational thoughts, like, I'm gonna fall off this bridge. During my therapy session with Dr. Pimentel, I showed her what happens to me, for example, when I drive over the Matthews Bridge near downtown. You know, even when I drive on the Arlington Expressway, I never go on this bridge. It's a paralyzing fear that takes over when I drive over the Matthews Bridge. I can see it from here, and I'm already getting angst. I'm wearing a heart monitor. When I'm calm, it records about 75 beats per minute, which my photographer noticed was quickly rising. What's my heart rate at now? Oh, 102? And I'm just looking at it. I'm like a mile away. Once I reach the base of the bridge, you can hear my shallow breathing. Oh, man. Can't do this. When I'm finally on the bridge, it's so upsetting it makes me shake and cry, convinced I'll fall off the bridge at any second. Oh, gosh. It's exhausting and embarrassing. The height and view from the bridge seem to spark my anxiety and send my heart rate through the roof. Once back in the Channel 4 newsroom, take a look at the heart monitor results. This first graph is the elevation of the Matthews Bridge. At our highest point, we were 175 feet in the air. Take a look at the graph below it. This is my heart rate, which started out at about 80 beats per minute and rose at the top of the bridge to 136 beats per minute. And as we came down off the bridge, my heart rate decreased dramatically. The last time I was behind the wheel over the Matthews, more than a decade ago, my fight or flight response nearly caused an accident. So to be safe this time, we asked the Florida Highway Patrol to help with traffic during our video shoot. Then we showed my driving video to clinical forensic psychologist Dr. Janice Pimentel.
I promise you, you will not have to go through that again.
Dr. Pimentel had me lie down and several times take in a deep breath, starting from my diaphragm, moving up to my lungs, holding it a beat or two, then letting the air out very slowly through pursed lips while focusing on that process instead of on my daily to-do list.
So with every breath in, you're bringing calming and cooling. With every exhale, you're getting rid of negativity, anxiety, and tension, okay? And if you need to, you can think the words blue as you're breathing in and red as you're breathing out, which creates a kind of a mantra. A mantra is just something that helps you focus, right? So sometimes even when you're picturing the blue and the red, the mind still wants to have words come into it and thoughts. And so sometimes just thinking blue and red is enough of a mantra to just keep the brain from like clicking in and going to crazy places, okay?
She says it's called relaxed breathing or sometimes diaphragmatic breathing, which she says can help combat most stress. She says after a month of practicing 10 minutes a day while lying down just before bedtime, it can become your body's automatic go-to fix when anxiety strikes.
When you are in that moment and driving across that bridge, if you only remember one thing, it's this. If you exhale longer than you inhale, you have to bring up the relaxation response. That's a biological trigger in your body.
To meet our story deadline, I only had about 2 weeks, half her recommended time to practice the breathing technique, which I practiced throughout my days. After those 2 weeks, Dr. Pimentel rode with me across the Matthews to see how the strategy would work for me.
Long, slow exhale coming up right now. Just push all that air out of your lungs. There you go, 82. Get you 80, 79, 75 at the top of the bridge. Woman, you own this. You got it.
I cannot believe I made it over that bridge. I cannot believe it.
I can't believe how low that stayed.
I still cannot believe it. Dr. Pittman tells us she's taught this type of breathing to about 98% of her patients for everything from spousal communication, anxiety taking tests, even PTSD. And a couple of you, our viewers, have already asked me how you can do this yourself. So I put a video of the doctor talking through and demonstrating this breathing exercise on our website. You can watch it inside this story on news4jax.com. Now, if you're going to try it, Dr. Pittman tells us a warning. This process does dilate blood vessels, which can cause you to be lightheaded. So, Kent John, she says, to make sure that you take 9 to 12 seconds before sitting up from that lying position, so you don't end up falling on the floor.
Right.
You know?
So I'm amazed by this. I've used breathing techniques just for normal everyday stress. This seems to take it up a notch. I was fascinated. It's only 2 weeks you were like practicing this to see what we just saw at the end of the Matthews Bridge, when you're like, I mean,
yes,
half as fast your heart was beating as that 2 weeks before.
But you're supposed to do it once a day at night. So I was doing it throughout the day. So not just at night. So I was doing it in the middle of the day when somebody would cut me off in traffic, or when my kids were like, yeah, I would practice every chance I got to make up for that extra time.
So this works for other kinds of like anxiety situations.
It sure does. It works for like your kids. If their kids are stressing you out, it works there.
No.
She says that's a place that you can go to, and it gives you the tool yourself. It gives you that toolbox. So instead of having to run to a specialist all the time, you have something now that you can reach to and find solace.
It's become part of your life, because now you have to keep adjusting for it. So have you gone back over to Matthews Bridge yet? Has been there a third time?
There has not been a third time,
all right.
but now I'm getting pressure to run the river run, which takes me out of the car and actually onto the bridge.
It's a lot easier.
Says you.
Yeah, because you're going 60 miles an hour, you got cars around you, there's that moment, it's slippery, you don't know, so that's what mental game I play in my head when I'm driving over the big bridges. So I would be more concerned, but I've run over the bridge, Hart Bridge,
But what about the protection of the vehicle?
You get in the middle of the bridge, you don't think twice.
Okay.
So I expect a report back on the Matthews for the third time.
Ugh.
Wow.
Yes, I can do it. I can
can.
do it now.
That's fantastic.
Thanks.